It was an ordinary evening when viewers sat in front of their televisions, expecting nothing more than the usual programs. News broadcasts, entertainment shows, and advertisements filled the airwaves as they always did. But suddenly, something unexpected happened. The signal began to glitch. The image flickered, distorted, and then completely changed. Instead of the scheduled program, a strange figure appeared on the screen. The audio was distorted, the visuals unstable, and the entire broadcast felt unnatural. At first, many assumed it was a technical issue. But as the seconds passed, it became clear that this was not an ordinary malfunction. The figure on the screen did not resemble anything viewers had seen before. It wore a mask, its appearance both artificial and unsettling. The background flickered with patterns that made it difficult to focus. The voice that followed was distorted, shifting in tone and rhythm, making it hard to understand. It spoke in fragmented phrases, sometimes clear, sometimes completely incomprehensible. The entire scene felt chaotic, yet strangely controlled. It was as if the broadcast had been deliberately designed to confuse and disturb anyone watching. Inside the television stations, operators were just as confused as the viewers. Control rooms filled with monitors suddenly displayed the same strange signal. Technicians attempted to regain control, adjusting equipment and checking connections, but nothing worked. The signal had overridden the system completely. It was not coming from within the station. It was being transmitted from an external source. This realization raised immediate concern. For someone to interrupt a live broadcast in this way required knowledge, equipment, and precise timing. As the interruption continued, investigators later concluded that the signal must have been transmitted from a powerful source. To override a broadcast signal, the hijacker would need to send a stronger signal on the same frequency. This was not something an amateur could easily achieve. It required planning, technical expertise, and access to specialized equipment. The idea that someone had managed to take control of a public broadcast raised security and vulnerability within the system. Viewers across the region watched in confusion. Some thought it was part of a program, while others quickly realized something was wrong. The strange figure continued speaking, its movements unnatural and unpredictable. The audio fluctuated, sometimes loud, sometimes barely audible. The entire experience felt surreal. It was not just a disruption, it was something unsettling, something that did not belong on television. For those watching, the moment became unforgettable. The audio of the broadcast was as strange as the visuals. It shifted unpredictably, creating a sense of unease. Some words could be understood, while others were lost in distortion. This inconsistency made it difficult to determine whether the message had any real meaning or if it was simply designed to confuse. Analysts later attempted to isolate the audio, hoping to find patterns or hidden messages. But the more they examined it, the less certain they became. Some believed that the broadcast must have originated from a hidden location. The idea of someone operating complex equipment in secret added another layer to the mystery. Whoever was responsible had managed to bypass existing systems and insert their own signal. This was not a simple act. It required precision and understanding of broadcast technology. Across different households, the same image appeared simultaneously. This confirmed that the signal was not localized. It was widespread, affecting multiple viewers at once. The scale of the interruption suggested that the source was powerful enough to reach a large audience. This realization made the event even more unsettling. As the strange broadcast continued, the signal began to shift unpredictably between normal programming and the unknown transmission. For brief moments, viewers could see fragments of the original show before the image was once again overtaken by the distorted figure. This flickering created a sense of instability, making it impossible to anticipate what would appear next. The interruption was not clean or controlled. It felt invasive, as if something was forcing its way into the system. For those watching, the unpredictability made the experience even more unsettling. It was not just the presence of the signal, but the way it disrupted the expected flow of information. Inside the control rooms, technicians worked urgently to restore the original broadcast. Buttons were pressed, signals were rerouted, and systems were reset. Despite their efforts, the interruption continued. The signal had effectively taken control of the frequency, preventing any attempt to override it. This level of interference suggested that the hijacker understood exactly how the system worked. It was not a random intrusion, but a calculated operation. The longer the disruption lasted, the more it exposed the vulnerability of the broadcasting system. For the operators, it was a situation they had never encountered before. The image on the screen became increasingly distorted as the broadcast continued. The figure's face warped and shifted, making it difficult to focus on any specific detail. Static noise filled the background, creating a constant layer of interference. The combination of visual and audio distortion made the entire experience disorienting. Viewers struggled to understand what they were seeing, yet they could not look away. The broadcast had a strange effect, drawing attention while simultaneously creating confusion. It was as if the signal was designed not to communicate clearly, but to disrupt perception itself. In homes across the region, people reacted with a mix of confusion and concern. Some tried changing channels, but the signal appeared on multiple frequencies. Others turned off their televisions, unsure of what they had just witnessed. Conversations quickly spread as viewers attempted to make sense of the situation. The shared experience created a sense of collective uncertainty. No one knew what the broadcast meant or who was responsible. The lack of explanation made the event feel even more significant, as if it represented something beyond a simple technical issue. Investigators later focused on the possibility that the signal had been transmitted from a powerful broadcasting source. To override an existing signal, the hijacker would have needed equipment capable of matching and exceeding the strength of the original transmission. This required both technical knowledge and access to advanced tools. The idea that such a system could be set up without detection raised serious concerns. It suggested that the individual or group behind the broadcast had carefully planned the operation. This was not an accidental event, but something that had been executed with precision. The identity of the person behind the broadcast remained unknown. No clear evidence was found to indicate who was responsible. The idea of someone operating in complete secrecy added to the mystery. They had managed to interrupt a major broadcast, deliver their message, and disappear without leaving a trace. This level of anonymity suggested a deep understanding of both technology and timing. Whoever they were, they had planned the event carefully, ensuring that it would have maximum impact while leaving minimal evidence behind. News of the incident spread quickly through newspapers and media outlets. Headlines described the strange interruption, capturing public attention. Journalists attempted to gather information, interviewing witnesses and experts. Despite the coverage, no definitive answers emerged. The event became a topic of speculation, with various theories attempting to explain what had happened. Some believed it was a prank, while others suggested more complex explanations. The lack of clear information allowed the mystery to grow, turning a brief broadcast into a lasting story. Authorities launched an investigation to determine the source of the signal. Evidence was collected, analyzed, and compared. Despite these efforts, the investigation produced no concrete results. The signal had appeared, interrupted the broadcast, and then disappeared without a trace. This absence of evidence made the case particularly challenging. Without a clear starting point, investigators were left with more questions than answers. The event remained unsolved, its origins hidden behind layers of uncertainty. Eventually, the signal stopped. The screen returned to normal and regular programming resumed as if nothing had happened. For viewers, the sudden return to normality was almost as unsettling as the interruption itself. The experience left a lasting impression, raising questions that could not be easily answered. Broadcast had been brief, but its impact was significant. It disrupted not only the signal, but also the sense of certainty that viewers had about the systems they relied on. After the event, many viewers replayed the moment in their minds, trying to understand what they had seen. The lack of explanation made the memory more vivid. Without answers, the mind fills the gaps with possibilities. This uncertainty became part of the experience, transforming a simple broadcast interruption into something more complex. The event was no longer just about what had happened, but about what could have happened. The story continued to circulate, passed from person to person, each retelling adding new details and interpretations. Over time, the event became part of a larger narrative about unexplained phenomena. It was no longer just a technical incident, but a mystery that challenged understanding. The lack of resolution allowed the story to evolve, becoming more than the original event itself. The image of multiple screens displaying static became a symbol of the event. It represented the breakdown of normal communication, a moment when expected systems failed. This visual stayed with those who experienced it, serving as a reminder of how easily control can be lost. The simplicity of the image contrasted with the complexity of the questions it raised. For many, the most unsettling part of the event was not what was shown, but what was unknown. The lack of identity, purpose, and explanation created a sense of unease that persisted long after the broadcast ended. It was a reminder that not all signals are understood, and not all events can be explained. Today, the broadcast remains one of the most mysterious interruptions ever recorded. Despite advances in technology, no clear explanation has been confirmed. The signal appeared, delivered its message, and disappeared without leaving a trace. And perhaps the most unsettling truth is this: if it happened once, it could happen again. In the years that followed, the incident remained unsolved despite continued interest from investigators and media outlets. Footage of the broadcast was analyzed repeatedly, with experts trying to identify patterns, hidden messages, or technical clues that could reveal its origin. However, every attempt led to the same conclusion: there was not enough evidence to determine who was responsible. The lack of resolution only increased the mystery. For many, the event became a symbol of how vulnerable communication systems can be, even when they appear secure. It showed that a single unexpected signal could disrupt an entire network and leave no trace behind. As time passed, the story evolved beyond the original event. It became part of a larger conversation about control, technology, and the unknown. People began to question how many systems they relied on without truly understanding them. The idea that a broadcast could be interrupted so completely raised concerns about security and trust. If one signal could be replaced so easily, what else could be affected? These questions extended beyond television, touching on broader concerns about communication in an increasingly connected world. The incident was no longer just a mystery, it became a reminder of hidden vulnerabilities. For those who experienced the broadcast firsthand, the memory remained vivid. The sudden disruption, the strange figure, and the distorted message created an impression that was difficult to forget. Even years later, many could recall the exact moment when the screen changed and something unexpected appeared. The lack of explanation made the memory stronger, not weaker. Without answers, the event remained open to interpretation, allowing each person to form their own understanding of what had happened. This personal connection ensured that the story continued to be shared and discussed long after the original broadcast. Today, the mysterious broadcast stands as one of the most unusual events in television history. It represents a moment when the expected flow of information was interrupted by something completely unknown. Despite technological advancements and improved security, the identity of the person or group behind the signal remains undiscovered. The event continues to raise the same unsettling question: how was it possible? And perhaps more importantly, if it happened once, could it happen again?